Yo, what's up, guys? Towels here with another Project Diablo 2 Season 8 video. This time we got big news from the team about our Season 8.5 reset coming up soon. So, this is going to be a crafting league that they're bringing in for the second time ever. So, I want to go over the announcements, some rules from last time, wish list for changes for this upcoming reset, thoughts around trading and some potential season starters, which I just have not nailed down just yet. And then I'll go over some updates to this Rarecraft Druid build that I had been putting together all of Season 8. So, items collected there, some updates from my other videos on that, and just had to bring it back out in honor of this update. But first, huge shout out to my buddy Extreme, who was the first T2 Rathma kill on Barbarian. So on his Wolf Barb, he was able to take it down. Really amazing that it took this long for anyone to actually kill it on Barbarian. So the aura was available up until less than a week ago, and amazing job by him. It took a lot of effort. He said over 50 tries. He did not practice on Pluggy, but all of those were live attempts. So Jaw plus for a T2 Rathma Voidstone, and going in and just pounding away at it, and persistence paid off, and he did it. So huge shout out to him. Big congrats. It looks awesome. It actually transfers across your account too, so he's even got level 1 mules with this aura popping up now. So if you see him at all, give him a shout out. It's really incredible stuff. So great job, dude. So going over the announcements really quick, in Discord, Senpai dropped the news way back on January 20th. Actually, like the day I came back from vacation, I came straight into this news, which was super hype because I missed the first crafting league the first time around between season 4 and 5. So super excited that we're going to be able to get this again. So got a second chance. Some details on here is to say that the crafting league is officially going to start on February 9th. And in addition to that, there's also going to be a full ladder reset for this. So season 8 ladder officially ends February 7th. And they are going to migrate all those characters to non-ladder. Last time between seasons 4 and 5, they did run a Crafters League, and then they went back to season 4 for about a month or so, I believe, before releasing season 5. So slight change in the order of things happening there. The last update was also from Canite, our amazing developer on the team, who also moonlights as a T4 dungeon boss from time to time. He kicked his butt maybe like 50 times or 100 times this season, and he dropped me absolutely nothing. So joke's on me. Love you, Canite. Doing great work with all the rest of the team. Super appreciate it. Regarding Canite's update, the TLDR for me on this is basically just take everything out of your shared stashes. So any character that you can access, any account you can access, if you just take stuff out of your shared stash and move it onto your characters, that's a great step to take. If you can't, in non-ladder, take care of your shared stash because you're not able to access any of your characters there, which is a kind of a common thing from the last season reset, unfortunately. Basically the whole reason why all of this is happening. Then in that case you can create a ticket with Canite as well, and he's saying here he will keep your non-ladder stash intact, and that's the reason why on your ladder stashes that you would need to then take everything out of your shared stash, go ahead and put that into take everything out of your shared stash, so stash pages 1 through 9, and instead keep that on your character, and then you should be all set. Yeah, and so after that, I'd like to look at some of the rules from the last Crafters League, right? So, of course, it's going to be a rare crafted focus league, no uniques, sets, or rune word items. Basically, the point, they do include Annihilus, Hellfire, Torch, and Geed's Fortune as well, though. So they increase the experience. Maps are players' 5 drops. Rare items in this league was the first time, I believe, that they started putting a minimum number of affixes. So 4 affixes at level 45, 5 at level 65, and then 6 affixes guaranteed for level 85. This is a really cool change. They did implement this permanently. I think it was this season or the last season before it, but really cool to see some of the changes that they tested out here becoming permanent changes later on. I really hope that there's a little bit of that this time around as well. Like rare items being used in crafting recipes. Everyone's pretty much aware of that one now, but I thought it was a really cool way to increase the number of crafting bases that are valid for the game. So map events will spawn more frequently, they said, and only treasure goblins and dark wanderer events will spawn because of the crafting materials focus, right? Vendors are also going to sell respec tokens, puzzle boxes. Maybe not going to be the case because of the existence of puzzle pieces now. In addition to that, also your dclone Rathma portal items will be available at vendors as well. Now on to my wish list for changes in the upcoming season 8.5 Crafters League that's coming up. So number one on my list would really be diamond crafts. So on Kasahi's loot filter and a lot of the other ones as well, you can see when you hover over the perfect gem related to a crafting recipe, you can see all of the ones available for it. So typically you've got like for all of the other perfect gems, you do have crafting available, just not for the perfect diamond yet. So would love to see something implemented for this. This is a pretty big change compared to the other things I'm asking for, so probably the least likely of coming, but would really love to see IAS craft on a weapon and potentially an all-res craft on your armors. Just some thoughts off the top of my head on that. Nothing I've looked into too deeply, but I know it's been requested frequently, so if the team's thinking about it, I'm sure they'll do a great job with it. Next up, facets. And Fallen Gardens map, now that those are a thing too, because a lot of folks have been talking about how worried they are for elemental builds coming up in the Crafters League, because it does seem like a very big nerf compared to what Fizz or magic damage based builds are able to do, because they're just not reliant on facets, right? So that's going to be a big part of, I think, what people are putting into their thoughts around season starters. Last item on my list would be corrupted zones. Would love to see, in addition to the increased drop rate on worldstone shards, to potentially give those additional crafting mats as a increased drop rate as well. Now that we've got them, I think there will be a bigger focus potentially on farming corrupted zones, just that they're a lot easier than maps, and if we can't do those efficiently with the builds that don't have the same kind of end game top end damage that we're used to in our really super OP builds using all of our uniques and rune words, I think giving a bigger focus on corrupted zones provides a lot of variety, and it's actually pretty fun. The project that I did with 300 corrupted zones a lot of folks seemed to think that that was kind of an awful slog to get through it, but it really wasn't. It was kind of fun. And I do have to amend something on there, is I had put cow maps, not cow maps, but the secret cow level corrupted as its own S tier. I do have to promote Tombs of Tal Rasha to that S tier level as well. So a few thoughts around trading that I have been mulling over as well. Again, I wasn't around for the first Crafters League, but I have heard things along the lines of high rune values going way down, which makes a ton of sense. You no longer have rune words for the usefulness of those runes. They're just going to be able to be used for their base stats that are available on them. So that being said, I've heard things like burr runes trading for runes, which sounds kind of crazy, but when you think about crafting material values going way up, there's also upgrade runes. So on your items that aren't elite, so normal versions and exceptional versions, you have an upgrade recipe, which will appear on, I think, most of your loot filters as well. Again, I'm using Kasahi here, and it clearly shows it. Right underneath crafted A level, it shows up. And then the numbers 8 and 10 refer to the rune number, and then the color-coded gem icon there shows it. So in this case, we've got rune number 8, rune number 10, and then a perfect amethyst in order to upgrade this breastplate up to its exceptional version. Similarly, for exceptional versions, You have higher requirements than rune number 18, rune number 21, and then a perfect amethyst as well in order to upgrade this dragon shield to its elite version. So because of that, you're going to see a big difference in kind of the rune trading values. I don't even know how much trading really will be happening. In my mind, I see this being more of a like solo self-found, group self-found kind of situation, just because rares and crafts in PD2 I find to be kind of the most desirable items, to be totally honest. Every season that I've played, I've crafted a lot, and I've always looked at a lot of my rare items, just trying to see if I can hit those crazy combinations of things that make an item super GG and actually competitive with all of the uniques and rune words that are out there with their crazy slams as well, right? And so anytime I do, I generally let the game kind of decide what I'm going to do next in a season, and finding or crafting like a really huge throwing weapon or Zealer weapon or anything like that kind of just decides it for me. I'm not going to trade that item, and I'm going to build a character around it most of the time. So on that thought, I really want to kind of recommend to folks that if you find a really good item or if you craft a really good item, I wouldn't trade it for high runes. If you get offers of high runes, just expect that those values are way down, and even though that's how you're used to trading, it might not necessarily be the situation. So really keep an eye out for that. I think honestly, if I'm going to craft or find a GG item that I don't need or don't plan to use, I would basically only be trying to trade that for other really good items. I don't really consider high runes to be a super valid currency in this upcoming season. And so last up, I really wanted to just go over a couple of my thoughts around season starters. Again, actually nailed down exactly what build I'm going to go for the season reset, but some thoughts that I've had are going to be around magic arrow on Amazon. I think that scales with physical and magic damage, so again, not going to be affected by a lack of facets, and from what I hear, really fun to play. So I am aiming mostly for new builds that I haven't played before. So along that same line, I'm considering potentially a Dark Pact Necromancer. I believe this has some issues in the kind of like mid-game, and especially without necessarily all of the plus skills that might be available, maybe a little bit difficult. And I also have played Necromancer before, but just being magic damage, I think will make it a valid choice. Leap Barbarian would be the next thing on my list. Honestly, I think this might be the optimal season starter, and as well as progressing all the way through the end game. I just consider Leap Barb to be a little bit of the dark side because of the T4 dungeon cheese that was happening all season. It's a great build. It's super strong. I definitely recommend it for any beginners, anyone new to the game. But obviously, I really consider that this is potentially going to be the optimal starter, because you've still got obviously the crafted ethereal weapons, which Leap doesn't use durability on, so you get that extra slot for an additional jewel or an ohm rune, whereas other builds are going to have to use a Zod in order to use a Eth weapon. And then you've also got your crafted vampiric helms for barbarians as well, so you've got potentially 3 sockets, big deadly strike, and all kinds of plus skills. Really cool stuff. Leap Barbarian, I think endgame really does do a great job with crafted items, and so probably a really good option there. I am considering Paladin, which is a class I have not played in Project Diablo 2 yet. Probably as a starter would be Holy Bolt and Fist of Heavens. Maybe eventually going into a Vengeance build to try that out. I know it's not super popular though, but the main thing about Paladin is being able to bring conviction into games. So running Paladin, I think, would make you super popular for the season, and probably going to be doing a lot of pub maps and pub games as well. So big consideration for me there as well. Finally, Blade Sin. So on the Assassin, I haven't played Blade Sin before. I had a Blade Fury bosser previously just for like Uber Trist, but nothing that I spent a lot of time or dedicated a lot of time into during a season. And so Blade Sin being super popular and really great all around. I think this season I just saw a T2 dclone kill using a Blade Sin on YouTube as well. So all of that put together, I think, makes it a really good option as well. And then finally, Fire Druid. I've just had such a great time with it on this season that I have to include it on the list. Since I've already got a Rarecraft build with it, I probably won't do that because I'll just be comparing my progress to the end game that I've got with it already, and so it might be a little difficult to keep the motivation up throughout the season. And last but not least, I'll go over some gear updates on this Rarecraft Druid build. I had put up previous videos, which I'll link below as well, around my T1 dclone kill. I have a T0 Rathma kill using this build as well, so it reaches some pretty good levels with it. Just stuff that I had collected along the way basically for the season. So got this crafted club here. +5 to Volcano overall, and then it has a -6 enemy fire resistance slam, which is, again, just my only source of pierce, being not allowed to use facets in this build. I've also got a rare pelt here, 3 to Molten Boulder, 4 to Volcano. It's unfortunately just +1 to Druid skills, so obviously room for improvement there. It does have an MF slam instead of like a +1 slam too, but it did hit 2 sockets, so really nice being able to use this with its big life bonus, 4 mana after each kill. And then what I didn't actually realize when I was first setting up this build and attempting like mapping and stuff is that in the Rarecraft League, they actually do have rune drops still. I actually was under the assumption anyway that runes weren't a thing at all, and so I thought I was cheating by socketing these things, but turns out that's totally okay. And so that's basically the main updates that I've made to my gear. So obviously here, got a Cham rune and a Jaw rune, so reaching nice levels of life on this build now too. So this armor is the safety armor crafted with +1 Druid skills, 20 FCR, and socketed with 3, so definitely usable. Still room for improvement, of course, but space for 3 Jaw runes never hurt anyone, right? This crafted amulet I've been using pretty much all season as well. +1 all skills, 2 to Druid skills, 10 faster run walk, 10 faster cast rate, all res, 4 life after each kill. I love this item. I'm gonna miss it for sure, but also I was using this on my regular build, my dungeon build with my main songs and everything, so this wasn't actually the reason why I wanted to make this build at all. Pretty much once I found this shield that I really decided I was going to go ahead and do it, because I ID'd this. I didn't even notice at first that it had a perfect PDR roll at 20%, and then I kept looking at it and I was like, 20 faster cast rate, 30-20 block mod, oh man. And then it had 18 all res with 2 other res rolls on it as well. I was super nervous to slam it, and then it hit 5% max life, which is super solid. Obviously, you would wish for a 6% here, or something like a +1 all skills, but amazing to still have. And then, unfortunately, the puzzle piece did let me down on this one, so you see it's only got 1 socket, but that's room enough for 1 burr, and then hitting the 25% PDR now, to basically look like a 20 FCR Storm Shield, pretty much. I'm using just some random FCR gloves here with some mana after kill just to meet a breakpoint. But this ring, I've got FCR, some mana, 2 life after each kill, and some MF. Definitely room for improvement there. But I've got this rare belt that I've been using for bossing all season too. Bricked a string of ears to this super early on in the season, but you can see 10 faster cast rate, 17 faster hit recovery, 85 to life, 2 max all res, lightning, and poison. I will take this brick all day long. And then this ring, also pretty nice here to get some faster run walk slam on an FCR ring with a bit of strength, good amount of res, and then 21 MF as well. So I'm actually running 100 MF on this too. And then this last boots, I've got a few different options here, but you know, just low tri-res boots, but it's got 24 MF on it and some PLR too, which is nice. Again, torches and annies will be a part of the crafting league as well, and then the rest of my charms here. To go over the mercenary, she is using an amp bow. This is just the best one I found so far. Would love to get better on this. Would also love to see potentially some kind of increase on like proc rate or something like that for these, because it is going to be hard to really make mercs useful, I think, in this upcoming league. This is just an FHR and Crushing Blow Blood crafted helm. Safety Archon here, really good roll on the PDR, so 23% PDR. It slammed with FHR. It's not a ton of enhanced damage, but not really the most important thing. So I've got 2 plain IAS jewels in it, basically, just to increase her attack rate there. Pretty random bow arrows here. I just didn't have a set available that I had held onto with any good stats on it, so this is basically just being used for the 26 pierce. Some nice gloves here though, so 20 IAS, 32 enhanced damage, strength and dual res. Good enough in this case, really. 17 FHR belt with 8% PDR, which is the max on a rare. 10% is the max on a rare, so 8%. Not a bad roll here, with tri-res and some life as well. And then just kind of a random pair of boots here for her too. So stats wise, I've got plenty of res. I've got a total of 33 PDR, which is percentage PDR, which is really nice to have for survivability. I am hitting the 99 FCR breakpoint and the 63 FHR breakpoint, which is enough. In maps, especially in T3s, I am running basically Volcano, Gust, and Molten Boulder to be able to do enough damage to make the way through the map, but I'll show that in a Warlord's map here. Take a quick look at the stats. 27 max life in this Stygian Caverns. Just a quick look at the stats over here. I am hitting 2k HP as well as 1000 absorb from my Cyclone armor. Really great for survivability. And also the mercenary I'm using, she's Act 1 physical, so I am getting that slow movement skill in place. All for the sake of survivability, basically. The damage is not terrible on this. I've only got a level 46 Volcano, and again, only that 6 Pierce, and I think only 4 Mastery, so that definitely hurts the top end damage there. You can see I'm still able to make my way through this map. I'm really nervous about the boss fight in this, and so we'll see how that goes. I am not running max block. I figured it was just too much of a sacrifice to make for the HP that it costs. So I'm not going to do a full clear here. Sometimes I tend to do that, but in this case, since we are recording here, I'm just gonna, and I'm not really farming too much at this point in the season. It's not really a lot of points to doing that at this point, but I am curious on getting to the boss and seeing how I do. Self-sufficient Warlord. Love it. Oh boy, I just got wrecked, but name lock. Alright, just looking at how long this boss is taking to kill, I don't know if I'm going to be able to kill the Warlord, just being totally honest. But we'll see, I'll give it a shot. Let's throw up a safety TV here. Never thought I would say that for Onion. don't know, he's a mod on our Discord channel. This is the absolute best place to go for like social truth on information for the game. So if you're not on the Discord, definitely recommend. Basically mandatory in my opinion. So in this case right now, I'm basically spamming summons as well in between my boulder and volcano casts. So just trying to keep alive this way. Very similar to how dungeons also. Yeah, I'm going to use some fuller juice for this fight. Yeah. Alright. Was able to get through it. Merc died. I do consider that getting my ass kicked in this case. Much harder than other experiences I've had. So with a full build would be a different story for sure. So my typical strategy in this fight is to run for my life and you let Armageddon do a ton of damage. It's definitely not as strong of an Armageddon as before, so I'm expecting this to be a really difficult fight. You get hit so often, it is really hard to be able to keep your Cyclone armor up, as well as spam summons on it, so we'll see how it goes. Coming. Okay, only a third of the way.
Evening.
Good evening.
Completed. ID'd for junk. Alright. Good stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Again, really appreciate the support. Hope you enjoyed the content. Here, for staying all the way to the end, I will give you guys a quick sneak peek of the next video. Yep, and that's it. Catch you on the next one. Peace.